begin with the white jersey. He maintains it. Top rider under the age of 25. He's making a push to be the top rider. Overall, he jumps into second place, the highest he's been. 1 minute and 30 seconds behind Julian Alaphilippe.
This was my man coming into the tour, and I'm going full circle, going right back in this guy for Paris. Changing colors from white to yellow.
These are guys
I really think so. I think he's the strongest guy, especially at high altitude. It's going to take a lot to do that, either with any of these guys to overtake Alaphilippe, but I really think that he would be the one to do it. And what was most impressive was
there he is in the young rider standings at the white. It's great. Sure he enjoys it, but I'm thinking about that yellow. Christian just went back a couple weeks ago. You said he was the guy who was going to win. What have you seen from him that makes you believe, one, he's better than Alaphilippe, and two, he's better than his teammate Geraint Thomas?
Well, he took, almost 40 seconds out of him in that last, what were we saying? Yeah. We have to go back tonight and look at how long he actually raced for, but it was less than 10 minutes or so. Yeah. They really went. So he did throw it down pretty good. He was really the only one who did it until his teammate did it a little bit later, but I think we have some little looks at it right now. And yeah, I mean, I think that whenever he goes and he sees an opening, kind of like Quintana does, this guy can fly, especially at the high altitude. He's a bona fide pure climber, and he can descend just as good as Alaphilippe for the most part. But look at this. When he gets that opening, he just starts going from strength to strength. You get that confidence that no one's behind you. You don't have to worry about anyone sitting on your wheel. You're free to fly.
Geraint Thomas is only 5 seconds behind him. He's the defending champion. Do you think it's got to be a pretty difficult conversation if they're going to switch from Thomas to Bernal?
They might be having a little bit of a discussion just about Thomas's attack when it's just Egan Bernal up there all by himself.
What did you think of Geraint today?
I thought he looked decent, maybe the best that we've seen, but I don't know for sure if the attack was really necessary at that point in time.
I thought it was okay. I don't really fault him too much, honestly. I mean, he had to test the waters to see where he was, and if he didn't attack, they would have never dropped Alaphilippe to see where he was. So I'm okay with that, honestly. It's more that I think that Bernal overall, especially when we're looking at Valteren, 30-some kilometers of climbing up to really high altitude, and tomorrow again another hard climb up high altitude. I think he's the better out of the two. Not by much, but I think he's better.
I think he's definitely climbing better out of the two, without a doubt.
Yeah. We talked a lot about Movistar's tactics and questioned them. I don't know if we came to any conclusions about what they're up to with riders in 7th, 8th, and 10th place. How about shining that same light on Ineos? What do you think of their strategy today and how they played it?
I thought their strategy was the best that they could do. They put their guys on the front. They didn't have horsepower like they had in the past. We've talked about that a lot this whole Tour de France, where they've always lacking that big power. Only Egan Bernal seems to be the only one with real impressive power here when it comes to Ineos. Their tactics were as good as they can play it. I don't even argue so much with Thomas's tactic. I wouldn't have done it myself with just my teammate up there solo. I didn't see the point, but I can't argue with it.
Yeah, I have to agree. They didn't have anything to work with. I mean, it's the best you possibly have. Maybe you didn't have to work the whole way up the ladder into the bottom of the Galibier, but that's the best what they did. They had to try to do something, but really they had nothing. Right. I mean, this is not the team that we've seen in previous years.
Thank God.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's good for all of us.
It's made a fantastic race, and if you were to bring it back again, Kieran, we keep on talking about this, if you would have Chris Froome and you'd have Egan Bernal and Geraint Thomas doing that work for him, oh boy, that'd be a different story. But we don't have that. So, but it's going to change a little bit. So let's say that if we have Geraint Thomas leading out Egan Bernal and ratcheting up the tempo, then that would be nasty. That attack would be really hard.
So that's really what we're talking about here, tactic-wise. Those are maybe the only mistakes. You put Egan Bernal, or you put Thomas on the front, he drills it, drops Alaphilippe. They both ride tempo. They're in yellow jersey today.
So not what they used to be, but still with the two major stages still coming up in the mountains here in the Alps. You look at the GC, and Bernal is only 130 back. Yeah. Thomas is only 135 back. Do you see that, Chris, and think, boy, they're well-positioned? Or do you look at it and say, they're not as good as they have been and they're running out of time?
Not as good as they have been, but they still have time.
Still have time to get it done.
Yes.
And really, I look at it almost, you take Alaphilippe out of the equation right now. I mean, that's a pretty bold statement to make, but like, if you take that, it's only 44 seconds between second and sixth place. That's crazy. I mean, it's incredible. You said 1968, I believe?
It's been 51 years to have this many riders this close to the leader at this stage.
So you take Alaphilippe, it's even closer than that. So I really think that Alaphilippe is going to maybe get through again tomorrow. Maybe some of this will race, some of these guys will come home, look at the footage of what happened today and say, oh, and I could give it a go up into team.
I think Ineos has to go back and they have to say, Egon, you're our leader. We're going to hit the bottom of the last climb, and we're going to drill it, and then we're going to put Thomas on the front, and he's going to blow everybody up, including himself, and then you got to go win this Tour de France.
But the question is, do you do that today or tomorrow, or do you do it on Saturday?
I'd wait for Saturday.
Yeah, I believe so too.
Yep.
So it's a good chance that Alaphilippe still has that jersey where they don't put it to him so hard. It might be another team who does. It might be Kreuzwick, and then I hear that George Bennett's not doing so well, so that's another big soldier that they don't have after Tony Martin as well.
Yeah. And see if we have time to take a look at George Bennett's day here.
Baka daw kaya nila muna si Alaphilippe ang bukas.
Let's take a listen to what Geraint Thomas had to say. Again, he's in third place, 135 behind Julian Alaphilippe.
Pwede pa kaya ito. Matamis.
Yeah, unfortunately we're kind of running out of guys and
Matamis, bihira maano, pero lang ko yan.
hard enough, so Paul made sure he had to jump
Ano
and
problema?
that would kick it off.
Chicharon?
Hindi ko alam.
Yeah, it didn't really, and
Itignan ko
yeah,
muna.
Mass Road, and they were kind of just riding tempo again, so that's why I had a little dig just to see if anything
Medyo lahat ang yema.
He obviously follows me over the top, but yeah, I think good day for Egan getting some time.
And one of those stages where I guess there's a lot of tired legs and also a lot of anticipation for these hard stages to come. So you're a bit between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, there's two big days now, so obviously we knew it'd be hard to
Makapandi ka to, galing Pilipinas.
to drop Alaphilippe today, but it's a big day. And
Hindi ko bak niya.
two more big days to come, so a lot of racing today.
Nahanap ko yun.
It kind of backs up what you guys just said. He said, we knew it would be a hard day today. Still 2 days left, so stay close today and maybe tomorrow or the next
Pwede na
few
ito.
rounds.
Yeah, I think patience is being a very strong virtue right now for them because they know they have a long way. And let's face it, they could backfire, right? They don't know exactly what could happen. So if they put all the boys in the front, they go for it. And Alaphilippe's there and attacks them and takes 30 seconds. I'm like, whoa, you don't want to be caught with your pants down on top of the Glibby. It gets cold up there. So, it's a lot of racing to go, a lot of climbing to go. And like we said, I think Saturday is going to be the biggest day. It's a very good possibility that Egan does chip away, does nickel and dime him again up the team tomorrow. Maybe not as big of an opportunity because, like you were saying, it's not those steep gradients, not as high altitude. We have the highest pass in the Tour de France coming tomorrow. Shorter stage.
Yep.
A little more dynamics.
Yeah, 8 miles. That changes a lot. That changes the speed and the freshness. And of course, it changes the helper on Ineos to be a little bit more explosive at the bottom of the last climb.
I don't think anyone's fresh nor explosive anymore, right?
That's what they're paid to do. They got to come through. It's going to be a short stage, so they got to have somebody there that can wrap it up, or they better put Thomas on the front.
Is Alaphilippe going to have chances tomorrow on this shorter stage to show off those descending skills and use that to his advantage again?
No, I don't think so. I think there's a little bit too much time in between, going over the top of the hill and then going all the way up in the valley and then up the team. I don't see that really happening. If he has teammates up the road, for example, if he had Enrique Mas, but that would take some serious what-if game going on with the team and getting those boys up the road. I think a lot of the teams did a great job in doing that today. You even saw Ricchesi getting up the road. I mean, he's one of the best lead-up men, if not the best lead-up man in the world. He was up in the breakaway, giving some bottles on the lottery. So they're doing everything in their power to make sure that he's protected and has bottles and support. But it's going to run out at some point in time. Enrique Mas, again, did a great job today. Back at his side, did a good pull up on the Glibier. I don't know.
And even in teams like Jumbo-Visma that had just good numbers here the whole time. We saw George crash early in the stage, make it back on, and then after that, he's up there to help his team all the way up the last climb, basically, until the big attacks came. So that's another team that could do something to try to keep the pace high enough to maybe lose the yellow jersey.
Jumbo-Visma right there in the top 5. Stephen Kreuzwick in 4th at 147 back. He's one of 4 riders inside of 2 minutes of Julian Alaphilippe's lead. Here's Kreuzwick after stage 18.
It's starting to get a bit late to get rid of Alaphilippe. He's starting to get worried that he's not going to blow at all.
I know still what's coming tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. There's no doubt us to come back afterwards, so maybe you'll crack there.
Stephen, what did you make of Bernal attacking and then Thomas following?
Well, this is their plan. I was a bit surprised, but still, if it works, it works. And he didn't put the attack from the Bernal in danger, I think, because he was already out of sight a little bit. And if he came across, then it was a really good plan, but didn't work out for them.
So
Good plan or bad plan by them?
You have to ask them.
How's Steven?
I'm okay, thanks.
I don't know if his teammate George Bennett is okay. 2 crashes today. The first one here at 107 kilometers left.
So left-hand corner, and this had really nothing to do with George. You see the Sunweb rider going down right ahead of him. Now you can see an onboard camera of George already on the ground, but I think he ran right into the back of Nico Rudge right there on the side of the road. Nowhere to go.
And here, clearly, he must have had a hip stinger or something because the legs are not working exactly the way they were before he came off the bike. But after some pedaling down the hill and some chaos of getting back onto the back of the group, he came good again.
Took him a long time to get back on. If you remember that, Chris. Seems like hours or days ago for that matter. Got back in, got the medic car, put some ice on the shoulder. That's pretty much the only thing we heard that he's complaining about, a little bit of his shoulder.
And here, the craziness of the cars and the motorcycle being side by side, that almost caused him to go down again, but certainly caused him time.
Dodging the water bottle, going to the left-hand corner, getting through the cars. But like Chris said, he did a great job getting back, getting the legs back underneath him, and actually rode incredible considering how hard he did crash.
Yeah, when you see there's no road rash on him, you know he didn't slide. And this is his second. That crash right here we're looking at is a second crash that he had that we're told happened on the descent, but we don't have the pictures of it.
Steve Perino said he was up close next to it, said it was really bad, and you can see he's in pain there.
So I believe this was on the Glibia then, because he was up and over with the Glibia, very close to the leaders, if not with the leaders most of the way. And then the crash, really in the last 10, 12 minutes of racing, very unfortunate for George Bennett to come down twice in one day today.
I'm sorry, Christian. It's starting to hail a little bit outside. You can hear that coming down on top of our studio.
Be interesting to see what he can bounce back like tomorrow. Sometimes it looks worse, sometimes it's worse than it looks.
The way he's moving is positive from our view, but of course we don't really know because we're not there, but it's definitely a positive sign that he's up and walking around, and he's just looking for some medical help right now from his team and the race organization. But this goes to show just how dangerous it is when you're going down a descent like the Galibier.
How big of a blow is this to Jumbo-Visma, and specifically Steven Kruijswijk's hopes of being on the podium or winning? He's in 4th place right now. Keep in mind, like we talked about this morning, Tony Martin is already out. He was disqualified yesterday.
It's really another, sorry, Christian, it's really just another blow for the domestique strength at the start of these last climbs to completely destroy the field.
Yeah, no, and it's a big blow just because he's the second lieutenant, or he's the first lieutenant to Kruijswijk, and really have Lawrence de Plus has been riding out of his skin every day, but you don't know what he's going to be like tomorrow and the day after that. So good thing is, it looks like he's still in the race. Who knows what he's going to be like tomorrow? Hopefully be okay, but who knows?
Let's bring it back to what we talked about this morning with Tony Martin being disqualified yesterday. Luke Rowe from Ineos also disqualified for the same incidents. Did you see any